which is great news. One question came up. If you have already registered somewhere else and then you fill this out, that gives you an additional place to register. So it's a good thing to do. Okay. Right, there you have it. Chaotic world. Next up is we're going to talk briefly as we get into careers and thinking about careers. Noreen Prochaska and Laura Dinunzio are coming to talk about e-portfolios, which, as you shall see, can be a very important part of your preparation for a job or graduate school. And I will let you take it.
Okay, I'm not nearly as dynamic as Erin is, but at least I have a fairly loud voice, I think, so hopefully everyone can hear me. I was chair of the implementation team when we started the education briefcase, which is the portfolio system that we have available here on campus. And I just wanted to talk to you very briefly about why we care about portfolios. And a portfolio is nothing more than a collection of what we call artifacts, things that you have done, things that you've written about, classwork that you're particularly proud of, evidence of service learning experiences, whatever that you decide you want to put into your portfolio. And probably the best way to describe why you might want to do this was the experience that I had one of the first years that we were implementing this briefcase. And one of the first programs on campus that implemented the education briefcase, our electronic version, was the recreation therapy group. And the reason they did that is because they already used a portfolio as part of their program. So their students were already creating a portfolio, but it was on paper, and they wanted to transition to it being electronic. So at the end of the semester, they invited us to come and watch the portfolio presentations that their students did at the end of the spring semester when they were getting ready to graduate. So the students were presenting their portfolios to us. And it had all this information of things they've done about their classes, about their internships, and so on. There was a very well-defined structure for it, and so on. And this one student stopped in the middle of her presentation, and she said, "I'm so glad we did this assignment because it made me realize how connected all the things that I've learned are and how well prepared I am to go out in my career." And that was the best description I have ever heard of why to do a portfolio. It collects all the things that you've done throughout your collegiate experience and allows you to reflect on them and reflect on what they've contributed to your education, and lets you see that you have learned something and that you are prepared and that you have grown over the last 4 years. And then when you go out and apply for a job or apply for graduate school, you've got all the evidence collected of those things. And you can send it out. If it's an electronic version, it's very easy to send it out. Artists have been carrying around portfolios for years of their artwork. These big, huge, things that they have to carry with them if they go to, for a job interview for a designer or something like that. With an electronic version, it's very easy to send it out to somebody who would like to see the evidence of, show me that you are educated. Show me that you are ready to go into a career in this, that, or the other, whatever it happens to be. So that's the idea of a portfolio. And then add on to that the idea of doing it electronically. And that's helpful, again, because of the ease with which you can share it to other people. And also, I think there's a sense in which it's kind of the wave of the future. When I was your age, we didn't even have handheld calculators. We ran around with slide rules in our binders. Things change. Now we're in the age where everybody has a cell phone, and you're very dependent on your cell phone. And probably most of you don't remember functioning without one. But it's not going to be very long between almost all employment applications, graduate school applications, whatever, are done electronically. And so saving this stuff in an electronic format is to your benefit. And that's kind of the idea behind the education briefcase. It came out of our last quality enhancement plan. We're about to undergo another review and develop a new quality enhancement plan. But the idea of that quality enhancement plan is called Synthesis, a Pathway to Intentional Learning, was simply to provide a tool, a mechanism for students to do this kind of recognition of their educational experience. And the e-briefcase was a tool to implement that quality enhancement plan. Now, there are some snags that have to do with doing these things electronically. It's kind of a new idea. The software is what software is, and you don't know what I mean by that. And there's also some security issues. And Laura Dinunzio is our technology expert with the education briefcase. She's been working for 3 or 4 years on it. She's the lead person in all the student assistance that's available, and she's very, very, very experienced with this thing. And I'm going to let her demonstrate a little bit about it and also talk about some of those security issues.
So we use a tool called eBriefcase as our online portfolio tool. It's actually an option within Blackboard, and so I am going to just go ahead and show you guys sort of where that is within Blackboard in case you decide you want to go through that option. And I'm also going to just talk about the advantages of using our portfolio system as opposed to another option, and I can talk about some other options as well with you guys. But so you're just going to log into Blackboard just like you normally would. From there, sorry, I always enter my password wrong.
Not when you're alone.
I'm pretty sure I do it then as well, but definitely in front of 250 students every time. We use it next week now. I'll use this one, it works just as well. So whenever you get into Blackboard, you're going to see this My eBriefcase tab at the top, and so that's going to let you go into sort of that portfolio. It's basically just like a portal where this is going to lead you. And so you can see here quite a bit of information. There's tutorials, there's quick how-to guides. There's also a whole list of support information. So I actually work out of the Technology Commons. How many of you have been to the Technology Commons? Awesome. Well, if you haven't been there, you should come because we've got a lot of IT services. But one of the services we do provide is support for eBriefcase. So that's one of the things we do. And I also do like in-class trainings and all sorts of other things, appointments, things like that. So there's a lot of support for eBriefcase for you guys in the Technology Commons. So let me just show you guys a sample portfolio. And there are samples out here. I'm just clicking the sample portfolios link. So you want to check out some samples on your own time. They're there for you as well. So basically what it ends up looking like, at least through our system, is basically just a web page. And Nori talked about this idea of reflection, so I'm just going to flip to this one where we can see the whole thing. But you can see there that there's sort of a title, then some reflection space, and then she included a paper that she did, and she included a final draft, and then a first draft, and other drafts, and just sort of reflected on that experience. And that's sort of the perfect thing to be able to do in sort of any sort of portfolio you're doing, and it's critical that you use that reflection space. Because if all she had up there was those papers, those don't really mean anything independently if you don't talk about what they mean to you or the work that you put in or sort of why they're important. When you're applying for grad schools, you're applying for jobs, what they want to see is like why you're including that. Like, why should I go ahead and read this thing that you put in here? What makes it important? What makes it critical? Why should I read it? So that's the kind of stuff that you want to put into there. And that goes for really like any sort of times that you're doing reflection. You'll see that there's quite a few different tabs or pages here. Each of the pages is based on, and Rory mentioned our quality enhancement plan, each of those pages is sort of based on the outcomes that they set up for us. So these are things that they think are naturally occurring throughout your entire time here at Western Carolina. So these are things that they think should be happening inside class, outside of class, in your personal experiences, and when you're getting involved in clubs and organizations. So these are things that you should be seeing in and out of class. And we definitely would like to see you put things in your portfolio that you're doing in class, but also things that you're doing with clubs, organizations. One of the topics on here is civic engagement, which really is based on your involvement with the community. So that one really is meant to be completely separate from your from your classroom experience. But there are many others that you can pull experiences from outside of your class into. And we would really like to see you guys do that, because that's a critical part of your education. And you might not realize it right now, but in 4 years, when you're getting ready to graduate, you're going to realize how those experiences outside of class really shaped you, just as much as those experiences inside class. They really are shaping you for those college experiences. So I would really encourage you to use the Blackboard tool because of the security stuff which Roy mentioned. So this is going to allow you to decide if you want to share that portfolio with someone. So I showed Denise's portfolio because she's given me permission to do that, and I would never do that to someone that hasn't given me permission. And that's one of the nice things about it. It's private. You get to decide who can see it. You can go in and share with those people. You can remove someone at any point in time. So if you share it with me today, but you decide tomorrow that you don't want me to see it anymore, you can just go in and remove me from access. And that goes for internal and external people here from Western. So you can share with Western people, you can share with anyone that has an email address, which really should be anyone in the world. I'd like to meet a person that doesn't have an email address. My 93-year-old grandfather has an email address, so I would really, and an iPad, so I would really hope that everyone has an email address at this point. But yeah, so there is security. There are things like WordPress and Google Sites and other options that you can use. But they do not have the same level of security that this option is going to give you. So those are going to be public sites. Things that you put out there are going to be public for people to see. So I would really encourage you to remember that you want things to be private. You know, there's a ton of place for public things, so Facebook, things like that. I mean, I have a Facebook and I put all sorts of things on there. But they're not things that I necessarily want employers to see as like, this is showcasing me as a person. So this is a place for you to keep those things that you want to showcase. So I would really encourage you to keep them private, which is why I would recommend the Blackboard tool as opposed to other options that you have out there. But again, if you need help, you have more questions, there's all sorts of contact information in that support column. There's a phone number, an email address. Please just shoot us any questions. I know they're going to save time for the end for questions, but I do need to leave today because we actually are doing chat support in Technology Commons after hours, so I have to go ahead and get them started with that. So this is our 5th day doing chat support, so if you want to chat with us, you can. But I do need to get back to that, but please email me with any questions. And ebriefcase@wsu.edu will get to me. So if you have questions, it's the best way to get us. So thank you so much.
I'm pleased to introduce someone who's spoken to many freshman classes in the past, Mardy Ashe, who is our Director of Career Services. And obviously what she's going to talk about is closely related to what we just heard. So, Mardy.
Of Career Services and Cooperative Education here at Western. I want to show you a couple things on our website that most students are interested in terms of jobs. When you hear Career Services, that's what I want you to think of, is jobs. So why would I go to Career Services? Well, it's to help me with my major so that I can get a better job, or to do an internship or an externship. Creating the e-portfolio that Nori and Laura talked about is really important as you progress through Western and improve your skills and improve yourself. Employers do love to see that collection of personal things that you have done, especially as they are work-related. Not just the academic achievements that you have had, but also the things that you have had as far as any work experience. That leadership. Involvement in clubs and organizations, also very important to employers. Those are the kinds of things that they look at. What did this individual do? Not just the GPA, not just the major. What did this individual do? What kind of a mark did this individual make at Western in terms of clubs, organizations, work experience that might be directly related to your major in the form of maybe an 8-hour or a 20-hour experience, which we call an externship, or a semester-long experience in working in a field that's related to your major in something that's called an internship or a co-op. So I want to direct your attention to the website. Of course, this is Western's website, and you know, websites are never easy to navigate. University websites are never easy to find anything. But the easiest way is to go to the A to Z index for us. You just click on that, if I can get it. C for career services. And boom, there we are. Now, there's a lot of things that we offer on our website because we also serve a lot of our distance students too. So if they want to do internships, if they want to do externships, they can do that as well. We also work very strongly with our Biltmore Park address, where students are taking classes there, not just graduate students, but undergraduate students too. And we work with them as well in terms of finding jobs over there, internships, externships, things that might be important in developing their professional selves while they're in college. That's such an important thing. So we've got information, a couple of different things that we put on the website that I want to just kind of point out to you. One of the things that we found out from the first-year students is that 80% of you were interested in holding a job on campus. If you've never worked, this is the time to get a job on campus. In fact, we find that about 50% of incoming students have never worked in a campus job. So the first advice that I would give to you is get a job, even if it's just a job on campus. All of our non-work study jobs are located in a program called JobCat. And that's the first thing that you see on the center areas, which is what I'm pointing out. So what we suggest you do is to establish an account in JobCat right away, because it's going to be good forever for you in terms of looking for jobs. Whether it's an internship, whether it's a job on campus, whether it's a full-time job, JobCat is what you want to look at. It's just a couple of screens that you fill out according to what your address is, whether it's on campus, off campus, what major you're choosing. If you can be undecided if you want to, you don't have to choose anything right away, but you can then indicate the career area. Maybe you know what career area you want to go into, but you're not sure what that major would be. You can put that on there. Once you fill out those various screens, it can take you to the section in which you look for jobs. Again, whether it's externships or internships or full-time jobs. So JobCat is just something that you want to establish, you want to get that started because it's good, not just while you're in college, but also after college. We have a lot of alums who come back and access information from JobCat as well. The database of JobCat is Career Builder and Indeed.com, but we also receive a lot of job information, local as well as regional, statewide, and national, that we add to JobCat too. So it's information about jobs, internships, wherever you might be interested and wherever you might be from. So JobCat's the first thing that's really important for you to be aware of. The perfect interview is an opportunity for you to practice interviewing. If you pursue a job on campus, say for example, your orientation leader was a student employee, your RA is a student employee, there may be a time when you think you would like to also look for a job like that that involves a lot of leadership, but maybe you've never worked in a job and you've never had to go through an interview process. So that's one of the things that we have brought in a program called the Perfect Interview, where you can actually film yourself answering questions. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Why are you interested in becoming an RA? Why are you interested in being an orientation leader? What's important to you when you work with other people? How do you get along with others? These are really good questions just to kind of get you prepared for what you might expect in an interview. Whether it's an interview for a job on campus, whether it's an interview for an internship, which might be later on in your academic career, or whether it is for a full-time professional position, you want to know how to interview. Of course, the other thing that we realize is that you've got to write a resume, and that's one of the areas in which we can help you do as well. In one of the links over on the side, we have a way to give you a resume format. The information for students and alumni, if you click on that and scroll down, you can see resumes and cover letters. So this gives you an idea of how to write a cover letter and a resume. I know that probably most of you have written a resume. I think now a lot of high schools are teaching students how to write a resume. My guess is that most of you have written one. But now it's a college resume, and there are some differences in how you present that information from the way you did in high school to how you're presenting your experiences now as a college student. Most employers are not interested in your high school achievements. Once you become a sophomore in college, oftentimes your high school information is not on the resume or is not presented on the resume. And so that resume changes somewhat as you advance in your academic career and also as you progress through any kind of experience, internships, co-ops, leadership positions that you're going to hold on campus. So a resume is really important, and we can help you in writing a resume as well. Resume and cover letter, those kinds of things that you're going to need as you begin to grow in your professional career. We also recognize in talking to employers that etiquette and how you present yourself, how you present this documentation to an employer is also very important. And so we offer a lot of etiquette activities, etiquette dinner, etiquette reception, so that you know how to interact with an employer over a meal. You might be interviewed over a meal. Part of that morning or afternoon or day-long activity might be over a meal. So there's a lot of refresher kind of stuff that Mom and Dad taught you to do, but more of a refresher in how to now deal with an employer over a meal. Also, our career fairs. We do a lot of career fairs that are short, brief conversations with an employer that you might be interested in. Those are networking kinds of things. How do you work a career fair to make it successful for you? And should you, as first semester students, really attend a career fair? Absolutely you should. Because there are employers there that you want to network with, that you want to interact with, that you want to meet, that can give you an opportunity for an internship or for a short-term connection in gaining experience towards that major. Again, experience, professionalism, activities can add to that resume that you want to really showcase to the employer. So over here we have a lot of our events. In fact, we've got an event next Monday, our Health Sciences Career Fair. Any of you who are thinking about a health science career, whether it be nursing or physical therapy or athletic training or medical school, we invite you to come to those, or pharmacy school. There will be graduate schools there as well as hiring healthcare agencies. Is it too soon to come as a first-year student? No. You need to know what to expect and to get you from this point as a first-year student into one of those professional schools. So it's in the new Health Sciences building, 5 to 7 p.m. next Monday, the 22nd. We also have 2 large career fairs on the campus, October the 22nd and October the 23rd, which we hope to get over 100 employers there at those events. And those are a little bit further down. You can actually click on the student details and see who's coming to those fairs. They're filling up. We're very excited about them. We're offering a 2-day event so that we can get more employers to come to those activities. The first day is focusing on communication majors, but also any business, industry, graduate school, or professional school, law school that you might be interested can come to that. The next day, the October the 23rd, which is a Thursday, again, any business and industry graduate school can come to that, but it's focusing more on STEM careers, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Again, we're hoping to get 100 employers to these events. This is a great way to practicing your networking skills, these short-term conversations with employers, letting them know who you are, what you're interested in, any career field that you might be interested in. Those will be in the UC Grand Room, 1 to 4 p.m. We really would love to see you there. These career activities are not just for juniors and seniors. They're for all of our students to come, become acquainted with the process and those employers that you might be interested in. Focus 2 is a program that we offer. It is a career guidance program that we offer for you to go through and do some vocational testing. We know that a lot of students are undecided about what they might want to major in, and Focus 2 can give you kind of a heads up on that and relate your interests and skills and abilities to various career fields. Let me talk just briefly about internships and externships. I've mentioned that it's always a good idea to get directly related work experience in your major before you graduate. You're going to get some work experience. Why not make it directly related to what you're interested in? The externship is actually the first way to get a short-term experience in a field that you're interested in. And this is like an 8-hour shadow experience or a 20-hour shadow experience in working with someone who is in a field that you are interested in. Is this a field that I think I would like to major in? What are the skills and abilities that this individual or this organization needs that I might have or that I can develop through my academic program? It's a short-term experience giving you a connection with the field that you're interested in. And we do have paperwork in which you can do it through a class, and you can do it on your own if it's just something that you're interested in. We've had a number of students doing an externship through a class, but they've also done it just on their own to just gain experience. Again, short-term, 8 to 20 hours. And that can be done in your first and second year, and any year, but oftentimes it's done early on. The internship is a more in-depth experience, semester-long. Academic credit can be applied towards the internship or co-op. It gives you a full semester's worth of experience in a career field that you are interested in. I would just plan on doing an internship. Just make it a plan that at some time during your academic career you are going to do a semester-long internship. Many students will do this internship in the summer, so they're not taking a semester off in order to work, but you can do that. Or you can do a summer where you're doing a work in a field that you're interested in going into. Many of these are paid experiences. You're working in a job within that field that you're interested in. So many of them are paid experiences, like a part-time job or a full-time job for a summer. So consider that. Again, it's done later on in your academic career, typically after your full first year of academic training in the major that you're interested in, which oftentimes happens after your junior year. We are always happy to work with you in any situation in the Career Services Office. We're located in the one-stop building on the second floor. You can contact us anytime you have any questions. We've got some information about our contacting, how to get in touch with us, and stop by and see us. Thank you for your time.
I have to stand corrected. I made a mistake. Lindsay corrected me. If you register in Jackson County, it actually cancels. Is that correct? The other registration. So, misspoke there. Thank you for reading the fine print. Got that straightened out. One last thing. Just about done. We have a representative from Alpha Lambda Delta, just to give you a little information on the freshmen, the National Freshman Honors Organization that all of you actually are probably qualified for. And we've got about 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'll be really quick. I'm sorry, guys. Hello. Oh, better than that. I said hello. Hey. My name's Erin Mullins, and So those emails will be going out.
So if you get a 3-5 for this semester here, you'll be emailed in the spring, around January or February, invited to join our honor society.
Invited to be one of us.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great. We're really a self-propelling.
Right. It's a very old honor society, but we've only been up and coming back in Western in the last 4 years. So it's really an opportunity for any of you to really take the reins and do whatever you want with it. I mean, we do things like interdisciplinary, right? So we do things like study parties, pizza.
Free food.
Free food. Free food.
At the
And
end of every semester before finals, we started this thing where we decided, we can help edit papers, we can help with the crunch time with studying, and while doing it, we do yoga. If you want to relax, we have food for those stress eating situations. We all have them. And
I'll peer edit papers, so feel free to come out this December. I'm an English major, so I will peer edit any of your papers basically. But and then another thing I really like about ALD is that there's a lot of volunteer opportunities. We do campus cleanup day every semester where we'll help just walk around and clean up campus a bit. And then there's also a lot of scholarship opportunities available, so including study abroad, and I think up to like $6,000. I think in some study
there's 24 undergraduate scholarships available, $1,000 to $6,000 each, that anyone who is accepted can apply for each year. I mean, it's not just for freshmen, you can continuously apply.
And another thing about Alpha Lambda Delta, once you get in it as a freshman, you're a member for life. It's a one-time due, you have to pay it once, and then that's it, you're set.
You can have as much involvement or non-involvement as you would like. And like we said, speaking of resume builders, Alpha Lambda Delta is a very, very old honor society. It's 90 years old. It's going to be recognized by most
Graduate schools that you apply to.
Well, then one of the things I like also about Alpha Lambda Delta is that there are a lot of leadership opportunities available. And for example, I started out as a webmaster when I was a freshman. I was president last year, now I'm senior advisor, and I graduate in December. And so I'm looking at graduate schools and applying for jobs and everything and stuff. And so this is something I can directly point to and show my involvement with WC.
I started out as secretary last year, and then now I'm vice president, and that looks very good on our resume, let me tell you.
Oh yes, oh yes. Anything you can do to build your resume, do it. But any information that we didn't cover will be in the pamphlets that were passed out.
Yeah, you should have looked at that.
And if you have any questions, will be available after the dean talk. And also just one other thing I want to think about ALD, it's very low commitment. You only have one chapter meeting a month, so it's not like you'll be every day coming over.
It's not your typical sorority sounding thing. It's a professional society where we do things to help our community. So
All right. Thank you guys.